Hi class, now that we have discussed the process to simplifying expressions, we are ready to get into the main part of this chapter, which is solving equations. I believe that you have seen the process for solving one-step and two-step equations before. In order to solve an equation, the ultimate goal is to get the variable all by itself in order to find out what the variable equals. In order to do that, we will use inverse operations. What that means is, for example, in number 1, when we are adding 12 to m, in order to get rid of that, we are going to subtract 12 from both sides. When we do that, the result for 10 minus 12 is negative 2. Therefore, negative 2 plus 12 would equal 10. In number 2, the variable is on the other side of the equal sign, so we still need to get rid of the number that's with the variable. In this case, it's a minus 9, so we will add 9 to each side of our equation to get g all by itself. In this case, g will equal 7. In number 3, we are viewing multiplication. So, in order to get rid of multiplying by negative 7, we will divide both sides by negative 7. In this case, negative 91 divided by negative 7 is a positive 13. For number 4, in order to get rid of division, we will multiply both sides by a positive number. In this case, we will multiply both sides by 9, so a will equal negative 36. Now, we may have fractions as coefficients on occasion, and we need to be able to get rid of those fractions in front of the variable as well. In order to get rid of fractions, we are going to multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of a fraction is the fraction flipped. So when I want to get rid of 2/3 next to the x, I will multiply by the reciprocal 3 over 2. I will do this to both sides of the equation. Now, in this case, the 3's and the 2's will cancel, and the result would be 10 times 3, which is 30, divided by 2, which is 15. In number 6, we have the same idea. We want to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 4/9. In this case, that will be 9 over 4. When we multiply by the reciprocal here, we will have w equals a negative 18. In number 7, we want to get rid of negative 6/5. The reciprocal in this case would be a negative 5 over 6. That would cause the fraction to cancel, leaving us with k, and when I multiply this side by negative 5 over 6, I will get a negative 60 divided by 6, which results in a negative 10. For number 8, again, I will multiply by the reciprocal, which in this case is a negative 2 over 1. That will eliminate the negative 1/2, and negative 9 times negative 2 is a positive 18. If you are entering these fractions in the calculator, please keep in mind that you should enter them in parentheses as you are typing them into the calculator, so the calculator knows that you are entering a fraction. Now, utilizing that concept of inverse operations and multiplying by the reciprocal, we have two-step equations. You will notice the two steps that are listed here. The first thing we are asked to undo is the addition or subtraction in order to remove the constant term. In number 9, we want to remove the constant term plus 8 in order to start to solve for the variable. To get rid of adding 8, we will subtract 8 from each side. 50 minus 8 would result in 42. At this point, in step number 2, we will undo the multiplication and division in order to remove the coefficient. In order to undo multiplying by 6, we will divide both sides by 6. In this case, we will divide 42 by 6, and the result is x equals 7. In number 10, in order to get x all by itself, we will add 5. 11 plus 5 is 16. In order to get rid of multiplying by 2, we will divide both sides by 2, and x will equal 8. The concept is the same in number 11 and 12, however, the variable has been moved to the other side of the equation. The goal is still the same. We want to get the variable by itself. So we will subtract 9 from each side to get rid of the constant term. 13 minus 9 is 4, and I will bring down my negative 4x. At this point, I will divide both sides by negative 4, and the result would be that x equals negative 1. For number 12, you will notice that you have a positive 7. Please be careful, the negative or minus sign is actually with the 3. So in order to get rid of a positive 7, we will need to subtract that from both sides. The result here is negative 3x equals 27. And when we divide both sides by negative 3, x will equal negative 9. For number 13, in order to get rid of minus 7, we will add 7 to each side. 9 plus 7 is 16. Now in this case, we actually have division to get rid of. So in order to get rid of dividing by 2, we will multiply both sides by 2, and in this case the result would be 32. In number 14, we want to get rid of plus 8. We will subtract 8 from each side, so 11 minus 8 is 3, and we'll bring down our division. We then want to get rid of dividing by negative 5, so we will multiply both sides by negative 5, and the result will be x equals negative 15. In number 15, we will move the 22 to the other side to start. So 28 minus 22 results in an answer of 6. At this point, we have a one-step equation with a fraction. So in order to get rid of that fraction, we will multiply both sides of the equation by the reciprocal. In this case, that is 5/3. On the left-hand side, the fractions will cancel, leaving me with x equals, and on the right-hand side, when I multiply 6 times 5/3, 6 times 5 is 30, and 30 divided by 3 is 10. So the result for number 15 is x equals 10. For number 16, we will subtract 1 from each side, leaving us with negative 1/3 x equals negative 8. Again, we have a fraction to get rid of, so we will multiply by the reciprocal. In this case, that is a negative 3/1. Notice I'm putting it in parentheses on the right-hand side to remind myself that I need to enter it in parentheses when I type that in the calculator. So, negative 8 times negative 3 is a positive 24. 24 divided by 1 gives us a result for number 16 where x equals 24. Please utilize these examples in helping you to complete the two-step equation maze. Bring this paper back to class with you and we will learn more about equations next week.